Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff from Garden Hydroponics. Just wanted to kind of drop you a quick video this morning, just to discuss, the growth of the bed and how things are going, and discuss the nutrition plan, and one little change I made this week, which was the addition of about 16 ounces of Epsom salt. But it is now day 19, and when I say this, it's day 19 for my original seedlings that were entered into the bed, and day 9 approximately for all the juvenile plants. So all the plants have been in the system for about 9 days. A lot of the juvenile plants are doing really well. I do have one that appears to have a problem, and I'm looking into what that plant might need, and it is the bell peppers. But we'll look at those today. So thanks for following along. The subscribe button below, and this is Jeff, Garden Hydroponics. Let's take a look at the plants. Thanks. Alright, so the system's awake this morning, and like I said, this is 19 days in, and I wanted to start out with the superstars. Romaine lettuce has just absolutely taken off. It is super healthy, super green, has grown probably 2.5 to 3 inches in the 9 days that it's been in the system. Seems extremely happy. There was a little bit of brown coloring that showed up on the edges of the plants. I'm going to attribute that to either shock or just maybe an issue with the roots getting placed deep enough. But I will say that it has not grown. If anything else, they have grown quite a bit larger. I mean, we're talking 2.5 to 3 inches of growth in height, but each one is really filling in the space now. So they have gotten quite a bit larger around as well. Plants are all, or the leaves are all much larger. But day 9 for these plants, they look very, very good. This week I noticed a deficiency in my tomato plants, but if you can see, they've actually grown about 4 inches. The cherry tomato plants. You can see where I got concerned. Some of the leaves have a kind of a brown spot on them. None of the newer leaves, and definitely the buds. There's just many buds, which is good for a cherry tomato plant. Just means I'm looking forward to a lot of fruit, which is good. But they've grown significantly. A lot of new growth on the cherry tomato plants, and they seem to like the system quite well. I'm gonna have to start building either a small little stand, get something to kind of wrap and hold them here, or I might even build a small cage for this particular pot. I haven't decided yet. I've been kind of holding off to see what I wanted to do as far as building a stand structure for tomatoes. But knowing that the cherry tomatoes are doing well in here, I'll probably put a couple more cherry tomato juvenile plants in this system this weekend if I can. Let's move over to the bell peppers. Bell peppers are having some problems. Now they have grown. They've actually grown probably about 1.5 inches since in the 9 days, but I am seeing um, some definite problems in the leaves, and this could be overwatering, which is a little hard to adjust in the hydroponic system. Raising them up, putting them in a drier location may help, or raising them up in the bed, but it also could be attributed to shock. I'm also kind of keeping an eye out for aphids and other small insects that may be attacking it, just because of the leaf damage that I'm seeing. But as I said, they are still growing. They're not showing a huge amount of browning after 9 days, so I'm gonna just keep my eye on them. We've had a lot of rain this week, which they do not like that. Not to mention, I mean, you have basically rain and you're in a hydroponic system. I do think the culprit may be just a little bit too much water for them right now. So I will keep my eye on them. And then move up to the head lettuce. This is where I originally saw some issues, and it is around the browning of the edges. Generally a sign that the plant is not getting enough water. I decided not to raise the bed here. Figured I would let them kind of dig down, and one thing I've noticed is that they have gotten quite a bit larger around rather than high, which that's typical of head lettuce. The other thing that I've noticed is that the browning has kind of stopped, and the leaves itself have gotten a lot greener and a lot larger. So there is definite growth in my head lettuce, and I think the added rain this week was actually helpful for them. I think they got a little bit more water with that, and it might have given the roots enough time to get down into the water table and satisfy their thirst. So I'm going to keep an eye on them, and we'll see how they go, but they look like they are moving forward, and moving forward pretty fast. Kale. What can I say about the kale? All I can point out is that I don't see a single sign of distress on any of the kale. If anything, it has grown about 3 inches itself in height, and all plants seem to be extremely happy in this system. Kale will be a long-term resident of this garden, that's for sure. I'm not a huge fan of kale, but with as easy as it is to keep going, I think you're going to see me focus a lot on romaine and kale as a species that I can put in here without much concern. So, and then let's go to our little cherry tomatoes. These have spent the full 18 days, or 19 days in here. The seed pods, I've got at least 4 that have sprouted and are doing quite well. There's another one kind of sneaking up through the rocks here. Seed pod's a little deep, and another one coming up right over there. So the little cherry tomato plants are doing really, really well. And then I also have over here another little sprout that's coming out of one of my seed pods. And I do believe these are carrots, but I'm not 100% sure. Unfortunately, I was very careful about moving things around and paying attention to where I put things. But I think in the scramble of construction, this seed pod got put in the wrong place, because if I look at those small plants, I'm thinking carrots, I'm not thinking radishes. So anyway, we will keep an eye on those, and they should tell me pretty soon who and what they are, as long as they keep sprouting. But they have also been in here the 18 days. So that right now is the garden itself. I'm leaving some of these empty beds so that I can spread out some of these plants as they get larger. And then I'm going to also, like I said, bring in a couple more cherry tomato plants. And then I'm going to probably bring in some more romaine and some more kale. Try and fill this up here before too long. So there you have it. Basically, day 19. We've got several areas of growth that have shown up, and the entire system looks to be very, very healthy. Very happy about that. That's a plus. I had a good feeling, and kind of a little bit of advanced knowledge from some of the early experiments indoors with some of these nutrient products, that they were going to work in the system, especially once I took out some of the other factors of indoors, which would be an enclosed water system, the environment itself, just being 100% on the grower, which is providing light, providing clean, fresh air. It's all, when you move indoors, the entire system is closed, and when you get outside, light cycles are determined by the sun itself, and air and insects, especially for your flowering plants, your flowering pants, if you've got some of those. But yeah, your flowering plants have insects to help them out. And there's just so many factors that go away in an experiment like this when you move the project outdoors. And that's one of the reasons why I did this, is wanted to move it outdoors so that I took some of those other factors out, so that when I do decide to move all of this inside, that it becomes easier, and I can take some of the things that were successful out here, and I won't have to worry about them so much. I'll have them kind of nailed down, and then all I have to do is focus on light cycles and the clean environments, and the sterilized mediums, and the things that you need to really consider when you take it indoors. So go over this real quick. So the entire system, if you haven't watched my videos, is currently running off of Miracle-Gro, water-soluble, all-purpose plant food. I am not a spokesperson for Miracle-Gro. I just was looking for something off the shelf that I could use in a hydroponic system and provide the nutrients that were required for the plants. And like I said, seeing very significant growth from just adding one of these blue bags into a 50-gallon system every 2 weeks. So, or sorry, I say 2 weeks. We haven't fully reached the end of 2 weeks at this point. Maybe a week and a half. So I'm going to play it by ear and keep an eye on the plants. The other nutrient that I added to the system this week, simple old plain Epsom salt. It is without a doubt a necessity for tomato plants. They need their magnesium sulfate. It is not in the Miracle-Gro solution. So you definitely want, if you're going to have tomatoes in your system, peppers too, really like magnesium sulfate. Not something that you want to put on your other vegetables, but it's not going to hurt to have it in the solution. So I dropped 16 ounces of Epsom salt into my solution this week, and we'll probably drop 16 ounces every time I refresh the water, which will be, like I said, water and nutrition plan. Every week and a half to 2 weeks, I'm going to flush the system. Basically, run about 35 gallons out the side of it, drain it down, refill it with fresh water, and then pour in 1 blue packet of the Miracle-Gro all-purpose plant food. That is water soluble, and 16 ounces of Epsom salt for the tomatoes in the system. So, thank you for watching. Go ahead and subscribe below, and keep following. It's great. Have a good weekend.